Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Let me know who is online. Yes, it's a beautiful day, another day for transformation, for change, another day for power. Hey, I'm not sure you're ready for tonight's review because it is mind blowing. And I'm not trying to hype anything, it is mind blowing, really. So just sit back, relax, and let us dive into chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Chapter 2 is titled Desire, the starting point of all achievement, the first step to riches. So if you actually want anything in life, you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, you want to be a blessing to the world, you want to make a positive impact in the world, it all starts with desire. Good evening, good evening. Good to have you here. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining early. Good evening. Yes, everything starts with a desire. And that is what we're going to be delving into tonight. Good evening, G-Tech. Good evening, Mr. De Africa. Good to have you. I'm so glad that everybody's joining early. It shows that we're actually ready. It shows that we truly want this. And trust me, this is the starting point. So I want to prepare your mind for what we're going to be reviewing tonight. I really want you to have an open mind. It is titled Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Everything that you ever want in life is tied to this 6-letter word called desire. Desire is the first step to riches. It is the first step to any kind of greatness or whatever you want out of life. Let's start. When Edwin C. Barnes, do you remember this guy, Edwin C. Barnes? We read about him in chapter 1. When Edwin C. Barnes climbed down from the freight train, the train that carried loads, because they didn't have fare to go to New Jersey to go and meet Mr. Thomas A. Edison. He actually resembled a tramp, an ordinary person, but his thoughts were those of a king. As he made his way to Thomas A. Edison's office, his mind was at work. He knew what he wanted, and he was so resolute about it. He saw himself standing in Edison's presence. He heard himself asking Mr. Edison for an opportunity to carry out the one consuming obsession of his life. If I may ask you at this point, do you have any obsession in life? It could be negative, it could be positive, because the same principle applies to everything in life, whether good or bad. Those who carry out evil, who perpetrate evil, they also had a desire. It all started with the thoughts. So are you obsessed with anything in life? But I want to trust that your own obsession is positive. He had this consuming obsession. He had a burning desire to become the business associate of the great inventor. Barnes' desire was not a hope. It was not a wish. It was a keen, pulsating desire, as in if you touched his heart, you would feel it. You would literally feel that desire. And this transcended everything else. It was definite. It was clear. He was so sure that this was what he wanted. The desire was not new when he approached Edison. It had always been there. It has always dominated his mind, his well-being, and everything. Imagine somebody thinking about one thing for as long as anybody can imagine. Yes, it has always been there. In the beginning, when the desire first appeared in his mind, it may have been probably was only a wish. How I wish I become Mr. Edison's partner. How I wish. But that wish turned into a desire. It was not just a mere wish when he appeared before Edison with it. The dominating dream of his life had become a reality. Today, people who know Barnes, Edwin C. Barnes, I'm not sure if he's still alive, but at the time that this book was written, people envied him. Good evening, how are you? Welcome. People envied him because of the break or the breakthrough that life had yielded him. Imagine somebody being envied by, as in people are just like, how come this guy, only you? They see him in the days of his triumph without taking the trouble to investigate the cause of his success. Good evening, Dinky. Isn't that what applies in our days today? That people just see somebody, including me. We see somebody who is successful and we don't bother asking, how did this person make it? We don't bother to investigate what steps did this person take. And we may not necessarily ask them one-on-one. We may just go and read their biography. We may just go and read their story. We may pay to go and listen to them talk. Good evening, Farida. Barnes succeeded because he chose a definite goal. Please, I want you to follow me carefully. I don't want you to miss any points. He succeeded because he chose a definite goal and placed all his energy, all his willpower, and all his effort into achieving that goal. Tell me, what is that goal that you have? If that goal has your energy, if it has your willpower, if you are obsessed with it, you are sure to succeed at it. I am not telling you theory. I am telling you the facts, the truth. I'm telling you what I've experienced. So he turned his energy into achieving that goal. He did not become the partner of Edison the day he arrived. Listen up, listen to this. He did not become the partner of Edison the day he arrived. So it doesn't mean that the day you have that desire is the day everything is going to fall into place. No. But he was content. He was satisfied. He was willing to start in the most menial work. Imagine somebody that wanted to become the partner of Mr. Edison, Thomas A. Edison. But when he got to his office, they just threw him into one place that, okay, go and be working there, go and be coupling wires or doing some menial jobs that did not even relate to what he wanted, being a partner in business, and just thrown into one vacant office to go and be doing something unrelated. But he didn't bother. He knew where he was going. He knew that that was just the starting point. In fact, as described here, he was content. He saw it that this is a step to it, that they even offered me a job here, right? Look at the person that had foresight. I want to become his partner. It's okay. The road may not look like it now, it may not, but I know where I'm going. So he was content. He didn't grumble. He didn't say, I want to become his partner. Why do menial jobs? Because he knew that as long as it provided him an opportunity to take even one step towards his cherished goal, he was willing to take it. And 5 years passed before the chance he had been seeking made its appearance. How many of us can be that patient? How many of us? This is, a very tough question that we need to ask ourselves. That you want something and in 5 years it's not coming. It's not even looking like it. Good evening, Mr. Kolawole. He's not even looking at it. He's not looking like it, but he stayed there. During all those years, those 5 years, not one ray of hope, not one promise of attainment of his desire had been held out to him. To everyone except himself, he appeared only another cog in the Edison business wheel, another worker, another employee. But in his own mind, he was the partner of Edison every minute of the time, from the very day he first went to work there. He knew what he wanted in his mind. It was very, very clear. Is that not close? It is a remarkable illustration of the power of a definite desire. Your desire must be definite. It must be burning. It must be clear within you. You must know what you want, such that if people come flashing different things in front of you, you will readily know that this looks like it, but it is not what I want. Imagine you wanting to go to a boutique to buy a green a green dress. Hi, Amabalale. You want a green dress because the occasion that you want to attend, that event, the dress code is teal green. And then you go to the boutique and they are offering you emerald green. They offer you olive green. If you are not resolute, you are not clear about what you want, teal green, you're going to settle for any other shade of green. And then you get to the event, you see that everybody is actually wearing teal green and you are different. You start feeling bad. You start feeling like, oh, I should have, insisted on what I wanted. The same thing applies to life. You have to be clear. We are going to get to 6 instructions that will help us, that will motivate us daily. We're going to get there, and I'm so excited about this. We'll get there shortly. So this guy was clear in his mind every day, every minute, within those 5 years. He didn't lose sight of what he wanted. People would see him as just another employee in Mr. Edison's office. But in his own mind, he knew that I am Mr. Edison's partner in business. It is a remarkable illustration of the power of a definite desire. Barnes won his goal because he wanted to be a business associate of Mr. Edison more than he wanted anything else. He created a plan by which to attain that purpose, but he burned all bridges behind him. He stood by his desire until it became the dominating obsession of his life, and finally, a fact, finally, a reality. When he went to Orange in New Jersey to see Mr. Edison, he did not say to himself, I will try to induce Edison to give me a job of some sort. He said, I will see Edison and put him on notice that I have come to go into business with him. And that was exactly what he did the first time that he met Mr. Edison. He told him straight up, I want to be your business associate. I want to be your business partner. Mr. Edison looked at him like this. I can only imagine what went on in the inventor's mind. Like, this guy, you don't even look like it. You're not even putting on his suit. I'm sure he must have been looking rumpled self. Somebody that went to New Jersey in a train that was used to carry load. It didn't have tea fare. So I can imagine how rumpled he must be looking, a young boy or young guy. But he was unafraid. He did not say, I will work there for a few months. And if I get no encouragement, I will quit and get a job somewhere else. He didn't say that. He did say, this is what he said, I will start anywhere. I will do anything Edison tells me to do. But before I am through, I will be his associate. He did not say, I will keep my eyes open for another opportunity in case I fail to get what I want in Edison's organization. He said, there is but one thing in the world I am determined to have, and that is a business association with Thomas A. Edison. I will burn all bridges behind me and stake my entire future on my ability to get what I want. This is a burning desire, and this is what I want you to have. Because I tell you honestly, as I sit here, this is what I have. If you look at me very closely, you will see that burning desire in me, and I kid you not. As I read this book, I felt like I literally felt it. So if you don't have this book, go and get it. Go and get it. So that as you take your time to read word by word, line by line, it will become very, very clear to you. It will become a tangible thing to you. You are not just reading, you are not reading it as an ordinary book. The words will be literally lifted from the pages of the book, enter into your spirit and become whole, and become that driving force that you need to break every obstacle, to shatter the ceiling. I'm telling you the fact. So go and get it, or check online. Maybe you're going to see, you'll be able to download it. Go and check openlibrary.org. Maybe you'll see it there, or archive.org. I think they are linked. Or just go on Google and type Think and Grow Rich. If the soft copy is available, download it, read it. Even if it is 2 chapters, no, 2 pages. Yes, per day. Read it. Read it. This guy burnt all bridges. He didn't have a plan B. No. He didn't say, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll go somewhere else. If Mr. Edison does not offer me what I want, I'll just work there for a few months and leave. No. Do you know what it means to burn bridges? The next story that I want to tell you is going to explain it further. But before then, let me read this last part. He left himself no possible way of retreat. He had to win or perish. That is all there is to the band's story of success. It is either I win or I perish. There is no going back. Going back to where? That was what he did. So let's take this second story of a scenario of it is either I win or perish. A long time ago, there was this great warrior who loaded a boat with all his soldiers and he took them to war. They went in a boat, and as soon as they arrived in the enemy's camp or the enemy's country, he said that they should set the boat ablaze, set it on fire. The moment all the soldiers came down, and he told the soldiers, can you see the boat going up in flames? They said yes. And he told them, it is either we win this battle or we all perish here. So if you want us to leave this place alive, we have to win. And guess what? They won that battle. Like they'll say in my country, who won't die? They won that battle. They burnt the bridges. That is what it means. Burn the bridges. Stop being a doubting Thomas. If plan A does not work, I'll move to plan B. If plan B does not work, I'll move to plan C. If plan C does not work, there's plan D. And so you become unstable like water. You have to stay put there and grow. You have to stay put there and make it work. Stop jumping from pillar to post, from one place to another. You have to persevere. You have to be tolerant. You have to be patient. Success takes time. Look at the way we just read Mr. Ban's story in less than 10 minutes, right? But it took this guy more than 5 years. 5 years in Edison's office, not even close to being his associate. Then we cannot even calculate the number of years that he used to nurse that desire before it eventually made the move to go to Mr. Edison's office. We only know of the 5 years that he spent there doing menial jobs before he eventually became Mr. Edison's business partner. So are you willing to stay put? Are you willing to stake all that you have for that desire to come to pass? Let it be strong, such that nobody can shake it off. No discouragement. Let people keep saying, oh, it cannot work. People that did it 2 years ago, they failed. You know what you want, and you are ready to have it. This was what happened. They set the boat ablaze. Every person who wins in an undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. Only by so doing can one be sure of maintaining that state of mind known as a burning desire to win, which is essential to success. Let me tell you another story. The morning after the great Chicago fire, there was a great Chicago fire so many years ago. All the people, the merchants, the sellers, who had stores there, they came together as they were looking at all their stores go up in flames. They came into a conference to decide, should we rebuild all our stores or we should go somewhere else? Maybe we should go to another country or another state and start all over. And they all reached a decision, except one. They were all willing to go somewhere else to start all over, except one man. Let me tell us his name immediately. His name is Marshall Field. Nobody wanted to stay. They were seeing ruins. They didn't see any hope of rebuilding their stores. But this guy, Marshall Field, said he would stay. He decided to stay and rebuild. He said to them, gentlemen, on that very spot, pointing to his burning store, he said, on that very spot, I will build the world's greatest store. no matter how many times it may burn down. The store was indeed built. It stands today, a towering monument to the power of that state of mind known as a burning desire. The easy thing for Marshall Field to have done would have been exactly what his fellow merchants did. When the going was hard and the future looked dismal, they pulled up and went where the going seemed easier. Very typical of today. Very, very typical. Everybody wants to go where the grass is green. Everybody wants an easy way out. Nobody wants to stake anything for anything. It is so typical. Yes, including me sitting in front of you, right? Who doesn't want something easy? Let's just work smart. Let's not work hard, please. This life is not hard. Yeah. So this guy was different. He said, I would stay and I would build the world's greatest what? Store, no matter how many times it burns down. Mark well this difference between Marshall Field and the other merchants, because it is the same difference that distinguishes Edwin C. Barnes from thousands of other young men who have worked in the Edison organization. It is the same difference that distinguishes practically all who succeed from those who fail. That burning desire. It makes a difference. Every human being who understands the purpose of money wishes for it. Yes, everybody wants money. But wishing will not bring riches. Wishing will not bring riches. But desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession. When you sleep, you think riches, you dream riches. When you are eating, it's like you are eating riches. When somebody is talking to you, your attention is divided because as they are talking, you are calculating, from what this guy is saying, there is business, there should be money. It occupies your entire being. That obsession. Then you start planning definite ways and means to acquire these riches that you're always thinking about, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure. If you have this, you're going to be rich. It may take you 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, but you're going to be rich. Oh, I'm so glad the day we decided to start reading this book. So now, I told you earlier about 6 instructions that we're going to take. If you have a pen and a paper, please, I want you to write this down. This is the point that we take action. We are not here to just talk and talk and talk. We take action. So please, if you have a pen and a paper, take this down. If you have the book, there may be no need for that. Now, the method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps. Number 1, fix in your mind the exact amount of money that you desire. It is not sufficient merely to say, I want plenty of money. How plenty is the plenty of money? Do you want 500,000 naira? Or you want $1 million? Or you want 1 billion pounds? Or you want 100 million euro? Don't just say, I want to be rich. I want plenty of money. Fix an amount. Be definite as to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. That's number 1 instruction. Fix an amount. Write it down somewhere. Number 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. You must be willing to put in the work. You must be willing to stake something for this. It's not going to come cheap. It's not. So what exactly do you intend to give in return for the money you desire? Do you want to read a book, 1 book per week, 1 book per month? Book some money on finances? Do you want to double your hustle? Do you want to cut short the hours, your sleeping hours, from 8 hours to 6 hours? Do you want to Start attending seminars, at least one seminar that will open up your mind every month. Do you want to make new friends, that will push you into achieving what you desire to achieve? Be clear about it. Write down the steps, what you are willing to do. Number 3, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Put a date to it. Is it in 2 years' time? Is it by December of 2024? Is yours 5 years? Is it 10 years' time? Put a date to it. Number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. Don't wait till tomorrow. Immediately after this live session, if you are truly ready, I know that it's not everybody that is going to do this, but if you are ready, begin at once, now. My Bible tells me that faith is, not tomorrow, not later. This very time that we're saying it, that you conceive the idea, you begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. You have that business, go and register it. That is how to begin. Go and register that business. Go and print that business card. Go and revamp that CV. You have an organization that you have been eyeing. Yes, revamp that CV, send it out. Go and write that exam. Go and learn that skill. Begin at once. Number 5, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to calculate it. So this one now will require a few sentences. Write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. It's been there before. Now write it again. Name the time limit for its acquisition. Latest, by 2027, something like that. December 2027. Can even put the date, 31st of December 2027. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. How do you want to accumulate it? Is it through your business? Is it through your investment? Is it on your 9-to-5 job? Is it through a real estate business? Be clear. You have learned a skill. You're a fashion designer. Is it through that fashion designing business? Is it through your catering business? Be clear about it. Number 6, please listen to this. Read your written statement aloud twice daily. Once just before retiring at night, before you sleep, you read it. It is the first thing you read when you wake up in the morning. As you read it, see it, feel it, and believe yourself already in possession of the money. So take it as a doctor's prescription. Once in the morning and once at night. If you now want to, take it to an extra level, you can now decide that, hey, twice is not enough for me. I want to take this drug 5 times. Unlike a doctor's prescription, there is no side effect to this one. No side effects. So take it as many times as you want to, but at least twice a day. The first thing in the morning, if you are the type that have morning devotion, I don't see any reason why you should have morning devotion. It is part of your morning devotion. You will say it out loud. Don't say it in your mind. Though. In fact, if you are bold enough, say it. Let anybody hear you. Say it. Let them laugh. It's okay. It is high time we stopped being too conscious about what people think of us. It is high time, really. Somebody will hear me. What if my neighbor hears me? They will laugh. Let them laugh. It's their mouth. Let them laugh. Let them laugh, right? You can't stop them from laughing. Do you even know maybe they're laughing already that you are poor, that you are jumping buses, that you cannot afford some of the basic things of life? Do you know that whether they are laughing already? Which laughter is more painful? Do your thing. Let them laugh. Read it out loud. See yourself as already acquiring that. See yourself that you're already in possession of it. Believe it. Believe it. It is important that you follow the instructions described in these 6 steps. It is especially important that you observe and follow the instructions in the 6th paragraph, number 6, that says you must read it, write it somewhere, read it out at least once, twice daily, once in the morning, once at night. You may complain that it is impossible for you to see yourself in possession of money before you actually have it. Here is where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money so keenly that your desire is an obsession, you will have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. Do you know what I said to myself? I said, I will have it. I will have it. I can do it. It is possible. These words have become my watchwords in the last few days. I will have it. I will have it. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to have it. It is a burning desire. The object is to want money and to become so determined to have it that you convince yourself that you will have it. Only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. Money consciousness means that the mind has become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. Thank you so much for writing those points there. To those who have not been schooled in the working principles of the human mind, these instructions may appear impractical, impossible. It may be helpful to all who fail to recognize the soundness of the 6 steps to know that the information they convey was received from Andrew Carnegie, who began as an ordinary laborer in the steel mills. Despite his humble beginning, Carnegie managed to make these principles yield him a fortune of considerably more than $100 million. For your information, Andrew Carnegie died in 1919, 1919. At the age of 83, was born in 1835. So as far back as that time, he made a fortune of more than $100 million. He was the guy who inspired Napoleon Hill to write this book. He was the one who shared sound principles of success with Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie. It may also be helpful to know that Thomas A. Edison applied these principles. There are so many people who applied this principle, so many of them. But you must know that it calls for sufficient imagination. Imagine it. And this is one thing that we're going to be doing intentionally. Imagine it. If you imagine it, it will enable you to see it. It will enable you to understand it. It will enable you to accumulate money. Because to accumulate money, you cannot leave it to chance. You can't leave it to luck. You cannot just leave it to mere fortune. Well, maybe heavens will smile on me. No, it takes a conscious effort. And let us look at so many people who dreamed or dreamt and who applied these principles, right? One of them, am I even there? Let me see. Okay, before I get there, we should let me see, this is in like 11 minutes. I'm going to be done in 11 minutes, right? Yeah. Well, please bear with me. I really need to do justice to this. One must realize that all who have accumulated great fortunes first did a certain amount of dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring, and planning before they acquired money. If you do not see great riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your bank balance. Never has there been so great an opportunity for practical dreamers as now exists. We who are in this race for riches should be encouraged to know that this dynamic world in which we live is demanding new ideas, new ways of doing things, new leaders, new inventions, new methods of teaching, new methods of marketing, new everything. So this is this is one of the best times to win in life. Yesterday, I came across this program, a seminar or a conference being organized by people who are in the social media space. And I was seeing some young chaps. Do you know the owner of Piggy Vest? He's a young chap. Seller, SELAR, another platform for buying and selling. He's a young chap. We're older than these guys. We're older than them. I saw one guy lately. He developed something like Netflix. He's a Nigerian. He's an Igbo guy. That boy cannot be more than 25. In fact, with that 25, I'm just trying to exaggerate a little bit. He looks so slim, so smallish, and he's already taking it round. He's been on a rise. He's been on media platforms here and there, trying to promote it, just like Netflix, just like all these movie and film platforms. A young chap, and it is already working. He's already bringing Nollywood into it. New ideas. I'm sure it started with just a thought, just a dream. I can do this thing. And then he puts it into action. We who desire to accumulate riches should remember that the real leaders of the world have always been people who are nursed and put into practical use. The intangible, unseen forces of unborn opportunity. Tolerance and an open mind are practical necessities for the dreamer of today. You must be ready to stay put there. Be tolerant. It's not working now. Don't pack it up immediately. Do you know how many times Thomas Edison tried before he eventually, got it right? This room is lit today, all thanks to him for inventing the bulb. He had so many other inventions. So be tolerant, have an open mind. Those who are afraid of new ideas are doomed before they even start. People who are afraid. I'm sure that we're not afraid. Success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. If the one thing you wish to do is right and you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Put your dream across and never mind what they say. If you meet with temporary defeat, for they perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. Now let's look at a few people who had great dreams and whose dreams became realities. Henry Ford, we talked about him already. The guy who invented Honda car. He dreamt about it, that he could invent something on 4 wheels that would move people around. Henry Ford was poor, he was uneducated, so we can relate. When people say, oh, billionaires, oh, they were born with silver spoons. He was poor, he was uneducated. But look at his invention today. Who doesn't like an Honda car? Well, very beautiful cars. Another person is Thomas Edison. Despite more than 10,000 failures, I didn't want to say that before. I was thinking, was it 1,000 or 10,000? 10,000 failures. He stood by that dream until he made it a physical reality. Practical dreamers do not quit. Another person is Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. He dreamed of freedom for the black slaves in America, and it became a reality. Another person, another dreamers, are the Wright brothers who invented the airplane. Come on. And this guy, Marconi, hey, the guy who had the dream that you can talk to somebody in Nigeria while you are in America, that your message can go through air. Marconi, he dreamt of inventing the radio, TV, cell phone that we're all using today. You can talk to your sister in Canada. When he had that dream and told his friends, they had him examined. They thought that something was wrong with him. They had to take him into custody. He was examined in a psychopathic hospital. When he announced they had discovered a principle through which he could send messages through the air without the aid of wires or other direct physical means of communication. But are we not beneficiaries of his invention today. The dreamers of today fare better. The world has become accustomed to new discoveries. Indeed, it has shown a willingness to reward the dreamer who gives the world a new idea. This is where we're going to stop tonight. Do you have a dream? Do you have a burning desire? Are you determined? Before we go, I just want to remind you of the 6 instructions. Very, very important. And number 4 says, begin at once, whether you are ready or not. So don't say, I'm not ready. Whether you are ready or not, write it down somewhere. How much do you envisage? When do you want it? What are you willing to stake for it? 6 instructions. If you miss them, some people have been so generous enough to put them in the chat box. Go and check them out. 9,999 failures, and the last was it. See? That's Thomas A. Edison. You see? It is possible. Tell yourself it is possible. Tell yourself I can do it. I am a dreamer. As you sleep tonight, please dream of riches. Anytime anybody comes to you with a business idea, don't ever say, I cannot do it. Don't ever say, I'm not into carpentry business. They are building a hotel. They want people to come and supply furniture, to come and supply different things. They say, I'm not a carpenter. You are a carpenter. You are a carpenter. Tell yourself, I am a carpenter. I am a photographer. I am a caterer. I am a baker. You don't need to do all of this. People that they call contractors, what do you think that they do? They get the contracts. They employ people to do the job. The carpenters will be in his workshop putting all the woods together. They are not the one carrying woods. They source for a very good carpenter that is trustworthy, that knows his onions. They supervise the project. They get it delivered. They get the money, pay the carpenter who did the bulk of the job. But they put the bulk of the money in their pockets. That is how it works. But if you are not thinking of money, if you are not thinking of riches, opportunities will just be passing by in front of you. You will not even know that there are opportunities because you closed your mind. I don't do this, so I don't do that. Who told you? Then that dream that you have, that idea that you have, start nursing it, start putting it into action. Have an open mind and don't give up too soon. Look at Thomas Edison. How can somebody try something for 10,000 times? How can 10,000 times? I've told us before, the lady that developed Canva, if you're a content creator, you know Canva, a very fantastic app. She was turned down like 1,000 times. She was rejected before she eventually designed that app. She even wanted to partner with people. She wanted to do it with others. She was rejected. They didn't see that her dream was viable enough. But she didn't give up. I'm never giving up in my life. Never. I don't know about you, but I trust you. They are not going to give up. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the feedback. Don't forget to like this live stream, please. Before you go, very important. Give it a thumbs up. Yeah. Take responsibility for your own life and decision. It is possible. I can do it. Thank you, Mr. Kolawole. God bless you all. We're not meeting tomorrow. Rest tomorrow. Use it to you are writing down your instructions tonight. So please, that is an assignment. That is a task. Before you sleep, I know that it's late, but before you sleep, see, there is nothing like nothing for something. Write it down in a book. Don't write it on a piece of paper, except you want to duplicate it. But it must be in a book that cannot tear. This is mine. Let me show you. This is mine. This is my vision book, you see? Shining. Write it down somewhere. But if you now want to duplicate it, to write it on sticky notes, to put on the wall in different parts of your living space, go ahead and do that. But you must do it tonight. So the whole of tomorrow, ruminate on what you have written. And then on Monday, 9:30 p.m. by God's grace, we'll come together. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to see you then on this live stream on Monday, 9:30 p.m. Nigerian time. God bless you. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady. And on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. I'll see you then. Be intentional. Bye. Okay.